Dave, I suppose for the neutrals, if you're watching that game, you say, well, what a cup tie that was, but I suppose you might have a different opinion. What was your overall assessment of this afternoon?
No, I suppose from the outside looking in, it's a good game. 6 goals, penalties, red cards, all sorts of what else, but ultimately a game we've lost. And although we've lost the game on penalties, we've not lost the game on penalties. We lost the game in the first 20 minutes and through poor defending. Got ourselves back in it. Once again, shoot ourselves in the foot by a horrific mistake. Individual again. Get ourselves back in it by scoring a really, really good goal. And then 10v11 ultimately goes to 10v10 because we lose Cass with an injury. And then at the end of the game, it was like a basketball game. It could have gone either way. It goes to penalties, and I'm disappointed with the penalties, but I'll back the lads. We picked to take them to score. We've worked on stuff in the lead up to cup games before. We knew where we'd be in terms of who would take them. It's difficult to replicate what goes on, but we've lost the game, which is the most important factor.
It seemed a bit of a crazy 15 minutes. Do you put that down to maybe lads who haven't played in a while and just trying to find their feet on the pitch, or do you just put them down just to not really concentrating?
No, because Cass has made 2 mistakes and he's played pretty much every game, and he's been great for us. He's obviously picked up an injury towards the end, but you have to be accountable, and he is accountable. He's a top lad, but he's made 2 mistakes. He's got done 1v1 twice, and that's cost us 2 goals. What we did do is when you put different people in and set up with a system that we wanted to play. And we thought, based on a little bit what they do, what we were up against, we know that they're notorious for being a back 3. We always, a lot of time, we'll try and set up with a system where we can press against teams. So you're sort of double guessing what was to happen. We want to be on the front foot. We want to press. We don't want to let them play. We didn't do that well enough because there needs to be some game understanding first and foremost. Secondly, there needs to be some communication. And people weren't passing on information as to what needed to be done or didn't have the answers. When we sorted that out, we got to grips with it after 20 minutes. We scored the goal. Then for the next half of the first half, we're in the ascendancy, we're on top. We spoke then at half time about going and I suppose taking that momentum we'd built up and going in and winning the game. We did more than enough to do that. Let's say you end up with a penalty which you score, the team are down to 10 men, the game's there to be won. Within a minute, less than a minute, we're then behind again. Great reaction to it, to be fair, scoring another good goal, and just didn't go on and didn't adapt again in terms of how you played against 10 men and what you need to do. Started forcing things to the middle when the space was blatantly obvious down the outsides. And then once it gets to the penalties, listen, anything can happen. And we lose the game.
That's the first game out of 3 done. Does it give you a bit of an indication of what needs to be done over the other 2 games to go into the league and get 6 points off a strong Halifax team? Yeah, listen, we had that anyway. You prepare, regardless of what we're going to do, you prepare that they're going to be full strength and not made change. They change the shape a little bit. It doesn't really affect us massively. We know how they want to play. We know where we think we can get joy against them. That's not changed. We didn't do it well enough in the first 20 minutes with the personnel on the pitch, which should be again a good learning experience. Should be a good learning experience for the team that we pick when we play against them next in the league. That if you don't do it effectively, then and you don't press as a sort of pack, as a group, then you get picked off. Which can't happen. Luke Williams got his start today, as you mentioned yesterday, and then got took off at half time, as you also mentioned yesterday. Was that just up as planned, or no, I'm assuming no injury?
No. Like I say, there was always going to be a risk in terms of being sort of static for 15 minutes and then putting him back out there. It wasn't a risk worth taking. I think the game in the first half especially shows how important Feds is for us in those central areas. Again, people divide opinion in terms of what he does and what to give us. He's a very, very clever footballer. He passes on information. I think you saw in the first half with Crofts and with Luke Williams in there, they were lost at times. So we were going to make that change. We were potentially looking at again other changes. I suppose the issue we have is that we had players out there that we knew wouldn't get through 90 minutes, which again, for a lot of reasons, is why you can't start them week in, week out in league games, and that's something they've got to be, like I say, responsible for. We can give them all the work and get them into a position where you've got to be going on that pitch able to complete 90 minutes. That's a position where Luke, for example, knows he's not there. We've got to get into that, and we've got to come up with a process that will make that happen, and we'll have to think about how we do that. But fingers crossed with him, no reaction, and he's fine, and to train on Monday.
Just a quick word on Lewis Cass as well, who went off right at the end. Is there any signs of that injury or any update on that injury?
Hamstring. How bad? I don't know. It just seems a little bit at the minute. Any luck we do have is bad luck, and like I say, without jumping the gun, he's certainly not ready for Tuesday. Ryan's tweaked his medial. Again, we'll have to see how he is. So we are, like I said, we are a little bit stretched, which isn't ideal when we're facing one of the sort of best squads in the league on Tuesday, if you like. But I'll back us, and I've just said to the players now, I'll back them all the time. What I can't do is keep saying it and then them not going and showing it out there. It's easy to talk within change rooms and in training grounds. Ultimately, you judge that by what goes on out there, and we're not. The concern is we're not learning from the mistakes that we're making. We were out the game on Saturday after 20 minutes, 2 poor goals. In the same scenario again today. They've done great to get themselves back in it, and then we should go on and win it. And again, naivety around us means that we don't go and do that.
Just finally, you said yesterday that you're going to make changes, and you're hoping that you're going to have a bit of a headache in terms of selection for Tuesday night. Do you still have that headache in terms of what you're going to go with in that big game against Stockport?
We might not have a choice in terms of, you got to see how injuries are and how we're able to set up and what we might have to do. Listen, we'll deal with that on Monday and see where we are. What we'll have to listen, we'll be strong. We'll be strong enough to go and win that game. We know what we're up against. They're a good side. The threat from set pieces. They're an organised side. We're a good side. We just got to, like I say, keep believing that. Keep doing the right things. Keep stick together. If I'm being dead critical, just cut out them little mistakes that are, again, are starting to affect everybody, if you like. You see it on the pitch, a little bit of tetchiness around the same things that we've spoken about happening week in, week out. Once that happens, that then becomes a problem to us as a management team, certainly, because you can accept people making mistakes. You have to learn from their mistakes, and at the minute we're not.
Dave, thank you very much.
Thank you.